Closed captioning is brought to you by Scent Thief. Make the wind your cover. Each year, thousands of hunters apply for various species of game from different states. Some of these tags take years upon years to draw. Colorado is a state that many Western hunting adventurers seek out in hopes of drawing that once-in-a-lifetime tag. One of the hardest tags to draw for a non-resident is an archery mountain goat tag near the Chicago Basin area. This area is known for having a great number of mountain goats. Mike Dickess from Mike's Archery drew this tag. Many would have said this would be impossible for this old boy to get up the mountain and stick a goat with his bow and arrow. He proved everyone wrong when he and Corey headed into new country with an interlock broadhead, his bow, and enough gear for a few days of hunting.
This is my last hurrah, folks. If I make it, pushing 70, going up 6.5 miles. Corey might have to carry me out. He might make a medevac. He-Man up the mountain! Hot dangity dong!
Here we go. I ain't gonna lie, this is not gonna be fun. 6 miles straight up. You know what time it is?
Time to turn around and go back. The old man's done better than he thought he would, if you want to know the truth. I think we're in, what, 6 miles or so?
It started with a dream, a vision and a passion, but 8 years old already put it into action. Who knew back then the outcome would be me with my own show on national TV? Learned to love the outdoors from my dad as a kid. That kept me out of trouble, so I'm thankful I did. From doing projects in high school to being field producer, never lost focus on my goals or my future. Now I travel around the country, stalking my prey. From deer frogs and buffalo to record-sized rays, the bow fishing guru, while hunting extremists. From archery to rifle, make the transition seamless. A year-round adventure, I proved that it can be. The only thing that matters more to me is my family. So come and make these memories last a lifetime with me, and watch it on Interlocks OutThere TV. Let's get out there, out there, out there. Let's go out.
In 2016, I received a phone call from my good friend Mike Dickess of Mike's Archery. He drew an archery tag for a mountain goat in Colorado near the Chicago Basin area. He asked me if I wanted to tag along. Basically, I was like babysitting, but it was an adventure I'll never forget.
Thanks, sir. We're loaded for venture.
Yeah.
Adventure. We're on the Durango Silver train heading to Silverton, but we're going to get off about 2/3 of the way up. I'm just going to throw us out on the side of the mountain. It's an adventure from there, so we'll see what happens. Beautiful day.
I've got Mike from Mike's Archery with me. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty excited about this trip. So everyone's loading up. We're gonna see what happens on this trip.
That tag took Mike a lifetime to draw. His ambition and strength is what helped him and Corey reach the top of the mountain where the goats lived.
We jumped on a train, and it dropped us off at the base of the mountain where we were praying the goats were. This was an adventure, to say the least.
Oh, I want to fix my hair, would you? What I got left.
Here we are.
Can you believe this crap?
There, we get some lighting.
2 big dummies.
Well, we made it to the top of the hill. We made it up. We got the tent up. We ate. We saw a billy. We saw a mule deer. So, the only thing I'm missing is my wife to snuggle with, but...
Well, you don't want to snuggle with me.
Wow.
Well, Mike, before it's over.
Hopefully a polar bear don't come in. We're so far up. You'll get eaten.
How far are we? 8 miles?
I know the battery went dead in the GPS.
Did it?
Yeah.
We're up 8 miles, I think.
Jeez. I know one thing. We walked 9 hours. About. Because we left at 12.
We had to go the long routes, I think I can tell you.
But we're here, we're safe, we're in a tent, we're having fun. So we'll see you in the morning.
Nighty, nighty.
Interlock's Out There is powered by Interlock Broadheads, Umarex Air Guns, Luminot, Honda Marine and Honda Generators, AMS Bow Fishing, Black Widow Deer Lures. Interlock's Out There is also proud to endorse these great partners.
Mountain goats, seeing all kinds of cool animals. Man, I'm having a great time. I feel great. We're at 12,000 feet and I feel really good. I don't know about my buddy.
Your buddy's old and over the hill and ready for...
That's the biggest goat I've seen and the oldest coming right here.
I guarantee it. Pushing 13,000 feet for the old man and still humping.
The next morning, the boys climbed into goat country and came face to face with a shooter goat.
We got a couple spotted. Looks like a couple big nannies with some, I don't know, babies. But at this age and at this level, we ain't gonna take no chances. So we got the perfect wind. They were coming down to us. We're gonna slip around these rocks, get behind some of these boulders and see if they won't come right up to us. So they don't really know what people are and they're kind of used to them up in this area. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Hopefully make good clean shot and interlock a big old mountain goat. Here we go, baby.
Hopefully we can get around him and get a shot.
Well, the first goat that comes up is a nice billy, but unfortunately, he's broken. But right behind him is a big old nanny coming our way.
Got one back up the mountain by itself. It's a nanny, but it's a lot bigger than that young billy.
Knock an arrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we did it. Did you get good footage?
68 years old, almost 13,000 feet, and he just killed a mountain goat. Passed on a billy.
I had broke horns.
Had a beautiful nanny come up. We seen quite a few goats way up high, and we both said there's no way we can get to them. And when God puts one in your lap,
Well,
make it happen.
At my age, and I've killed a couple really nice.
This was a huge accomplishment, not only for Mike, but myself as well.
May not be the biggest goat in the world, but it was quite a challenge for me. Yo!
The success of the hunt was unmatched to anything they've ever done. A mountain goat with a bow at that age, in those conditions, well, it's absolutely amazing.
This is Corey babysitting the old man, and I warned him a month or so ago, but he accepted the challenge, and he did it. He got me here. He had to push at times. So we're eating good. We got a goat.
Was this going to be
Beautiful
Corey's last time to visit the region? Or would he be back with a tag himself or a camera once again? Airgun hunting has come a long way. This week, Cameron talks about airgun hunting with an Umarex.
Hunting with an airgun is fun and rewarding. Just like archery, you can't be too far from the prey, so you gotta get kinda close. The accuracy of these guns and airbows have come a long way. The 50 cal hammer can even bring down the biggest of big games. Hunting with airguns is a lot of fun, and if you haven't tried it, you don't know what you're missing.
Outdoor Edge. There's never a dull moment with the razor-sharp, replaceable blade knives.
I never dreamed I'd ever get back to that area. It took, I think, Mike 20-some years to even draw that tag. But last year, I got a phone call from Mike's son, Bryan Dickess. He drew the exact same tag and asked me if I'd go along on a hunt since I've already been in that area. I thought about it. I said, let's go.
The summer of 2020, Corey received a call from Mike's son, Bryan Dickess. Bryan drew the same tag his father drew just a few years prior. Because Corey knew the area, Bryan asked Corey to once again travel back into goat country and try their luck at an archery goat.
Bryan and I did some extensive research in this area that he had drew the tag for, because the train that Mike and I took wasn't running due to the pandemic. So we had to hunt an entirely new area. We had no horses, we had no trains, we had no way of getting into backcountry except our legs. So we had to find easy routes to travel in, and hopefully there'd be goats there.
Man, we've been driving all day. I picked Corey up in Kansas, technically yesterday, but we left this morning, and we've been driving through Colorado most of the day, and we're finally into goat country, and it is absolutely gorgeous, man. The snow-capped peaks off in the distance, and just the windy mountain roads here with all the switchbacks. What a blast. I'm pumped and excited to get on the trail tomorrow and hopefully find some goats and make this thing happen. But the drive and the scenery is worth the price of admission, so it's well worth the trip, even if we didn't have a goat tag, just to see the country and get in here and do some hunting. So we're excited to get up the mountain tomorrow.
Lots of preparation went into this hunt, and lots of adversity took place. Because of the pandemic, the train wasn't running to the base of the mountain where Corey and Mike had hunted, so Plan B came into effect.
Welcome to Silverton. If we can fit through the door with our packs. We just made it here. Checking into the room for the evening and get all our gear sorted out. And kind of get rearranged and organized so we can head up the mountain tomorrow and see if we can't find some goats.
Bryan had driven to Colorado where he picked up Corey, and the journey took them through some of the best-looking country North America has to offer. The two of them would stay in a hotel the first night and then drive to the base of the mountain and begin the trek up. No train, no horses, just the packs on their back and the determination in their hearts.
A freak snowstorm had hit earlier in the week, dumping not inches but feet of snow. So we knew that the goat hunting was going to be tough. We never dreamed it would be as tough as it was.
Bryan and I up here on the side of this mountain, literally trying to find a needle in a haystack. What I mean by that is, it is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life, and we know that there's goats here. But if they don't move, tough to see white on white. So it's about 2:30. I got the jet boiling up. I'm gonna have some spaghetti and keep glassing, and hopefully these animals start moving around and we can pinpoint an area where there's some goats and move in on them tomorrow. So we'll give this spot, I guess, a day or so and see what we can have. He had a buddy in here a couple years ago, last year, and he said it took him about 4 days to find them, so we're not gonna give up.
Well, after glassing all day from this really high vantage point, we realized that the goats just weren't in the area, and this was going to be a very difficult.
Well, it's 4:40. Elk are up stirring around on that point. Probably half a dozen of them, maybe 7 or 8 of them, I guess. Coyotes are howling. We cannot find one white mountain goat.
Well, we have officially spotted our first goat. It has taken all day, but there are goats on this mountain. Now, the other bad news is they're on the other mountain and not on the mountain that we're on. But they're over in the direction that I kind of wanted to be. And so now tomorrow becomes make a decision. Now, it isn't Annie and a kid, so it's not like it's a big Billy that we're just going to run over there and try to figure out. But there are goats here, and we knew there were goats here. Had to be goats here.
Day 1 done. Found a couple. Yeah, right. No phones, no Facebook, no kids screaming at me. Guess we got to figure out a game plan for tomorrow, but as of now, we're gonna fire up. We don't have a grill. The jet boil.
Why didn't you pack a grill?
No, I had enough trouble getting here. I felt good today. Saw some elk, saw some goats, saw a mule deer buck, and a lot of mountain.
Products seen on today's show can be purchased at mikesarchery.com. Interlock's Out There is powered by Interlock Broadheads, Rackroyds, Kula Buck, Scent Thief, Powertran, Lakewood Products. Interlock's Out There is also proud to endorse these great partners. E-bikes seen on Interlock's Out There are provided by E-Bike Pros.
Well, the next morning I looked like I fought Mike Tyson. I was windburnt, sunburnt. It was miserable. We were in a lot of pain, not to mention we couldn't find any goats.
Man, sunburn, windburn yesterday, pretty bad. Look at that. They say this hunting stuff's easy. How are you making out?
I'm alive. My ears are swelled shut.
Yeah, my eyes are swelled shut.
After a long first day of hunting, both Bryan and Corey realized the goats they thought were in the area, well, they weren't.
Breaking down camp. So we spent 2 days and no goats in the general vicinity of where we're at. So we're gonna break camp and make a new plan.
An early snowfall may have moved them down off the mountain to lower terrain. The plan was to move off the mountain and waste no time. They packed up camp and headed back down the mountain to come up with a new plan.
And we are now gonna head down for plan B. We've hooked up with an outfitter with horses, and we're gonna go check in with them, get some paperwork filled out, figure out how many horses we need, and make a plan for headed back into the backcountry so we can get way deep into these mountains and find us a good goat and hopefully get a shot.
Thanks to a local outfitter, Bryan was back in business. The new plan was to have horses take the guys along the trails of the railroad tracks to the same area that Corey visited years prior. The rumor was there were still goats in that area. Corey and Bryan met up with Clayton and his brother, and they hit the trail. It wasn't going to be an easy ride, and it surely wasn't going to be a 5-minute walk. After a long day, they reached that same area that Corey and Mike had hunted years ago. Would history repeat itself once again?
We just rolled in right here. This is where it all began for Mike and I. Brian's over there, and Mike, you paved the way for Bryan, and we're on the same trail. I mean, we're in the same shirt. I didn't want to tell nobody, but I brought the old.
This was pretty special to me because I was back on the same trail that I was on with Brian's dad.
Back on the mountain where I was a few years back, and does it ever feel good? Got to see a couple landmarks that I recognized, and yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it choked me up a little bit. It was pretty cool. I never thought I'd ever get back on this mountain.
The next morning we wake up, I'm so excited because I'm like, this is gonna be so easy. There's gonna be goats all over the face of this mountain, and we're gonna tag out, and it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. I was wrong.
First morning, the guys woke up to clear skies and great weather. They began the climb to exactly where Mike had shot his goat, and there was no goats to be found.
Good morning. I think it's still morning. We hiked up into top of Chicago Basin, and we were hoping to pop up in here and find some goats like Dad did, and there are none.
Where did they all go? The feeling that Bryan had wasn't good. However, they call it hunting for a reason. It was now time to hunt, glass, and scout for these goats. After a few days of hunting with no luck, they began to worry. It was the last day of the hunt before the horses were to pick the guys up. after another morning with no goats, they started back toward the camp when they finally spotted some goats high up on the mountain. The hunt was on, even though both Corey and Bryan knew it was a long shot to even get close to these goats.
We're like trying to be quiet. We're officially in goat country with goats.
With time ticking away and so many eyes looking down the mountain, the plan wasn't working. The goats were moving higher up the hill, and time wasn't on Bryan's side.
It's do or die time.
Years and years of applying thousands and thousands of dollars came down to the final push, and it didn't plan out. The goats, well, they used the elevation to their advantage and went over the hill, and the guys left it all on the mountain. The tag wasn't filled, but the memory made was well worth it.
Easy. As we got closer and closer, those goats knew something was wrong, and they fed right up over and finally disappeared over top of the mountain. And Bryan's goat hunt was over. The stars did not line up like they did for his father 3 years prior.
This isn't an easy hunt. The elevation, the terrain, and the weather can all dictate the outcome. 4 years prior, Mike was very fortunate to have the stars line up in his favor, but years later, the stars were not. Interlock's Out There is powered by Interlock Broadheads, Umarex Air Guns, Luminoc, Honda Marine and Honda Generators, AMS Bow Fishing, Black Widow Deer Lure, Kula Buck, Scent Thief. Interlock's Out There is also proud to endorse these great partners: